Hello, I'm Mr. Choi. Today we will go through two topics in this exercise. The first one is about the prime factorization. Okay, the prime factorization. Of course, the first words, prime, that means a prime number. We are talking about prime number. A prime number, that means it has only two factors, that is 1 and itself. For example, 5 is a prime number, alright, because the factors of 5 has only 1 and itself, 5 itself, alright. So 5 is an example of prime number. And then the second word, factorization. Okay, I will explain it through the following exercise. Okay, for the question 1 first, we go to the question 1. Find the value of the following expression. Maybe I will make use of C and D to be the example. As you see that we have some, we call this index. That means we are going to do the multiplication with itself, and when the index is 3, that means 6 to the power 3. This 6 to the power 3 means we have 6 times itself 3 times. Okay, 6 times 6 times 6. And then minus 3 to the power 3. That means 3 times 3 times 3. And therefore, we should have 216 minus 27. And as a result, we should have 189. It should be our answer. So we put 189 as our answer. And then look at part D. And for the part D, we should understand that the first step in this calculation, we must handle the subtraction inside the bracket. Therefore, for the first step, it becomes 3 to the power 4. Because after the subtraction of 5 minus 2, we have 3, and then we have 3 to the power 4. And 3 to the power 4, of course, means that 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. It should be 81. It should be 81. So it is about index. So for the question 1, we have to understand how to work with index. And then we go to question 2. Okay, question 2, we should understand another vocabularies. It call it index notation. For the index notation, that means we make use of the form of index to simplify the calculation. For example, go to the part A. We have 2 of the number 2 multiply itself. That will become 2 to the power 2. And then let's look at 3. We have only 1 3 here, so we just copy down 1 3 in the multiplication. And the last one, we have 4 number 5. Therefore, we can write it as 5 to the power 4. So it should be our answer if we are using the index notation to represent the same calculation. We can write it as 2 squared times 3 times 5 to the power 4. Okay. When we read this, we can read this as 2 to the power 2 to the power to represent the index. Okay. Or because it is a very common to have the index equal to 2. Therefore, we have a special name. We call it square. So we can also read it as 2 squared times 3 times 5 to the power 4. Maybe we can skip the question 3. We just need to check for the number which one is a prime number. Okay, so we skip this and then we go to question 4. Question 4, we have to convert the number in index notation. Alright, we will make use of, we call it the short division. Let's take part A as an example. 72, do the short division. And then we think of the factors of 72. And we will choose the smallest factor. And the smallest factor always be the prime number. Therefore, we also call that we are using the prime factor to do the short division. For example, the smallest factor should be 2 in here. So after we put 2 and then do the division, we get the quotient as 36. And again, we choose the smallest factor. It should be 2 again. So do the division, we have 18 and go on. And in this case, we have 9 and the smallest factor should be 3. So it is like that. And after that, we should be able to write it as 72 should be equals to, we have 3, number 2 here, 2 to the power 3 times, we have 2 number 3 here. That means we have 3 square in here. So it should be our answer by short division. We call this method short division. Okay? Therefore, for the question 5, it looks very difficult. Actually, we just need to do the same things of question 4. We are going to do the short division for 2000. And then after the short division, you can count how many 2 in here, and then at the same time, you can count the number of 5 in here also. Okay? So we go to the next page. It is about H.C.F. and L.C.M. Okay, so of course, everyone knows how to work out for the H.C.F. and L.C.M. by short division. It is the method we learned from primary school. So I will skip this part and then we go to question 2. Question 2, it is about a new method. We should learn it from secondary school. It is called prime factorization. Okay, actually we are doing the short division and then change the numbers into the index notation with all the prime factor. For example, 100 short division. Of course, we start from 2. I say that we always start from the smallest factor. It should be always be the prime factor actually. 5 and 5. And therefore 100, it should be equals to 2 square times 5 square. And then we do the same things, short division again for 120. And then we find that for 120, we have 2 to the power 3 times 3 times 5. Alright? So, when we need to find out the H.C.F., we have to find the common factor. That means the factor we can find from both index notation. Therefore, we find that both of them get the 2 and both of them get the 5 in here. So we can copy down 2 and 5, but we also have to consider the index. Okay, one of them get 2 to the power 2 and the other one get 2 to the power 3. We also get the smallest index in here. So we get the 2 to the power 2 in here because it is smaller index. We always get the smaller index. Okay, therefore for the number 5, we get only 5. Because when we write down 5, that means the index should be equals to 1. We don't need to write down 1, but we should understand when we write down an integer, the index should be equal to 1. Therefore, for the smaller index, we write down 5 here. And finally, we need to try to find out the numbers it represents. 2 squared, that means 2 times 2 should be 4, and then 4 times 5 should be 20. So after we work as the method with prime factorization, finally we get the H.C.F is equal to 20. And the last question, we have question 4. We use the same method to find out the L.C.M. Therefore, first of all, we work out 40 and 48 with short division again. Okay, I try to do it faster. Okay, we go on. It should be quite easy. And therefore, for the 40, we can write down as 2 to the power 3 times 5. And then for 48, it is 2 to the power 4 times 3. Okay, now we are going to find out the L.C.M. The L.C.M, we need to write down all the factor. We need to copy down all factors. That means, of course, 2 we have to use 2. We have to choose 3 and we have to choose 5. We will copy down all of the numbers to be the L.C.M. And at the same time, when we consider we copy down 2, we have to choose for it is the opposite with the H.C.M. We have to choose the larger index. Therefore, we choose 2 to the power 4 and then times 3 and times 5. And finally, we have to work out the calculation and to find the number. And 2 to the power 4 times 3 times 5, it should be equals to 240. So we can get the L.C.M. with the method of prime factorization. Okay, I hope you can finish the other question by yourself. Bye.